All right, another round of applause, please. Fantastic discussion. Okay, only two talks left. I'm extremely excited about what we're about to hear in this conversation, in this presentation. So we're going to bring up Nese Ozler from Deutsche Telekom. Deutsche Telekom is an investor in Nova Labs. We're very proud and honored to have them as part of our ecosystem. Nese, in her role, has a unique view of the intersection of traditional wireless, which I guess we're calling TradWi now, which I don't love, but here we are, and decentralized wireless. So it's an extremely unique opportunity to hear her take on what's happening, and let's get her up on stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Okay. So, I think you can hear me. Thank you, Mark, for the wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Nese Ozler. I work for Deutsche Telekom Partnering and Devices, and within that division, I'm part of the scouting team. So I'm based in San Francisco, just a visitor here. I've been with Deutsche Telekom since 2019, primarily focusing on the networks innovation. I've been in the telco space for 15 years and worked for Ericsson for 10.5 years. I held a variety of positions across business development, product management, project management, solution architecture, and system integration in different locations around the world. It's a pleasure to be here with you today to talk about a topic that I'm very much passionate about from the start of 2021. I remember the first time I was just pitching Helium to my executives. I've seen many different reactions on people's faces that day, even though it's really hard to read faces in the Zoom calls nowadays. But it was a very proud moment for me to see many of them getting really curious and also become animated. So I also remember the first time I read about Helium through Stacy Higginbottom's newsletter and fell in love with how Helium team solved the supply side problem with an irresistible incentive structure, in this case, HNT tokens. So I've been in this industry for 15 years, right? So I've seen a lot of IoT companies who are just trying to solve the supply side problem. So that's why I just got really fell in love with the solution here. And here we are today. And today I'd like to talk about blockchain, crypto, Web3 at DT. So, and then I hope to give you a glimpse of Deutsche Telekom's journey in crypto blockchain world as a telco. So, let's start with why Web3 matters to us. So, this is a great slide to start a discussion about the importance of Web3 for telcos from relevancy perspective, as crypto actually moves very similar with another trend in the past, and it's internet. Development of the internet took 28 years until the number of internet users hit the 5 billion mark. From this graph, you can infer that we're still in the early days of the crypto, but with one difference this time. It's not too late for us, for our industry, to become a player in this field and conquer the business models of the decentralized infrastructure, because it's still growing. In my honest opinion, it will take much faster for crypto to reach the 5 billion mark as the world is becoming more digitally savvy. So, this is a chart from November 2021. This is when Bitcoin peaked and got to its all-time high. So this chart is a very great way to show different waves, and the biggest differentiator between these two waves were the retail and the institutional investors, and how their shares changed compared to the last peak cycle. Overall, volume increased, the trade volume increased fivefold, while share of the retail dropped 52%. Meanwhile, the institutional increased 52%. So we know, especially in the US, all the people during the pandemic were confined to their homes for extended periods because of the pandemic, right? So started looking into crypto, a way of taking their minds off from the actuality of the imprisonment. People started learning about what a crypto is, how they can set up a wallet, how they can use it, how they can buy and handle crypto. On top of this, second wave is driven by the large corporates, family offices, and institutional investors. Some of the names on this slide is very well recognized, like the biggest institutional investors such as Tesla, Square, MicroStrategy. But I put also edit like Deutsche Telekom logo here, as we're deeply engaging with the ecosystem daily, as we're running infrastructure services for blockchain environments and holding tokens at the same time. Long story short, we still see a lot of potential in the market through this 2 peak cycles, although crypto winter is here, but I'm still betting this winter isn't there to stay for a long time. But I have to figure it out during mainnet this week and SmartCon next week. So, providing complex infrastructure for the internet is something Deutsche Telekom has done for decades. For us, it's pretty natural to provide infrastructure support for the incipient internet of value. Hence, Deutsche Telekom is very interested in the ecosystem because of the infrastructure play perspective. Digital assets rely on infrastructure, like telcos also rely on the infrastructure to provide voice and internet services. So Web 1.0 started building on top of the existing internet infrastructure to start the information economy. Then Web 2 came on top of it by using the building blocks of the earlier generation with the iPhone platform economy team. Now with the Web 3.0, which is having both centralized and decentralized pieces in it together, using the data layer, in this case the blockchain piece. Maybe the most interesting thing about Web 3 is the major players aren't yet identified. That's the beauty of Web 3, as Web 3 comes with a new promise. Values exchange between people, not big tech. That's why Helium's people's network always resonated with me a lot. So now we talked about Web 3 promise and the relation to the infrastructure. So let's talk about what's in it for Deutsche Telekom through our journey of engaging in the blockchain ecosystems. So Deutsche Telekom providing staking services for proof of stake. Public blockchains is a modern extension of traditional telecoms infrastructure services. So Deutsche Telekom's staking business is very much of a milestone to become part of the ecosystem from the early phases of the industry. You can follow the progress through the press releases on the slide, especially the one about the Chainlink press release. They said, never mind Bitcoin on the balance sheet, a subsidiary of Europe's biggest telco is taking a stake in DeFi. So we followed the trends by having tokens on the balance sheet, but took it further with the staking services, which is very core to our business from infrastructure perspective. So just to go over the timeline here, Deutsche Telekom is one of the main data providers to Chainlink, the omnipresent Oracle service on which decentralized finance relies. Deutsche Telekom is running execution nodes for the Flow blockchain, where the main computation runs. Flow is a very important expansion to our portfolio, especially from the NFT angle. And Deutsche Telekom bought DOT tokens, and through this purchase, Deutsche Telekom as a holder can participate in the network governance, staking, bonding, and runs validator nodes through the Telecom's infrastructure. So just to give a summary of all the tokens we stake in the Telecom's infrastructure, Deutsche Telekom stakes its own, and Silicon Valley's famous venture capital firm, and also the investor to Helium, Andreessen Horowitz Telo tokens. Deutsche Telekom stakes Flow tokens of Dapper Labs. Also stakes DOT tokens of Web3 Foundation's Polkadot. And a bit of a spoiler, before the announcement next week, Deutsche Telekom will be moving into Ethereum staking, partnering with StakeWise, a liquid staking protocol. So Deutsche Telekom has approximately $100 million worth of assets on their stake. So I'm going to move to a slide which I love the most, because this is going to show you the overall picture of what we're doing in the last 2 to 3 years, even though our Blockchain Solutions Center started 6 years ago. In summary, we're providing several infrastructure services for various blockchains out there. We have validation nodes that we offer on our cloud that our customers, proof-of-stake public blockchain networks in this case, can spin up their validators. We are being paid in cryptocurrencies daily. Deutsche Telekom runs node services for Chainlink blockchain, ensuring the reliable connection of external data to smart contracts. And we open our SMS APIs to infrastructure services on the Celo blockchain. Most importantly, especially in this event context, Deutsche Telekom, TIP, Telecom Innovation Pool, strategically invested in Helium to observe and evaluate the impact of decentralized infrastructure models, especially from the network infrastructure build-out perspective. So, from the investment perspective, Deutsche Telekom engages with the ecosystem in different ways. In some models, we do equity investment into the companies. In some other models, we do token buy. But in the overall, the aim is to keep abreast of any innovation to continue our journey into the blockchain ecosystem sustainably. I want to point out 4 decentralized tokenized business models that we put time and money in. So ClearX is the decentralized settlements and clearing software designed to remove the friction in complex B2B trade. It's an equity investment, and it's our bet on real-time service between partners' inventories, which allows timely and precise settlements, like our roaming use cases. Celo is a decentralized mobile-first blockchain platform designed to make financial tools accessible to anyone with a mobile phone, which is our bread and butter. It's both equity and token investment. It's our bet on the financial equality through digital wallets, remittances into the future. And Deutsche Telekom is operating nodes with our native token holding and having delegation for A16Z, Andreessen Horowitz. Ponto is offering several API layers that gives corporates opportunity to easily enter the Web3 layers that gives corporates opportunity, decentralized currency, decentralized world through cryptocurrency and mobile money in fast-growing markets. It's an equity investment, and it's our bet in the next wave of consumer innovation. So the most important one, Helium as a strategic investment is the closest to our infrastructure build-out business. We carriers build out infrastructure centrally, which means there is one entity building out infrastructure. Well, with Helium, this is decentralized. Everyone here in the room can buy Helium hotspots connected to their own landline. Then you're becoming part of the fastest growing LoRaWAN network, and after the Freedom 5 acquisition, also 5G out there, and you're being incentivized by tokens, meaning you'll earn tokens by doing that. Personally, I have one hotspot in the office and proud to be part of the people's network. So this is the last slide. I should tell you that Deutsche Telekom has been extremely proactive compared to the other telcos in getting started, which I personally believe is very important in the space. So watch the space and Deutsche Telekom and T-Mobile. There is more to come. Thank you.